Right?
Okay, see you.
All right. Hello, Meat Fam. My name is Jacie. I'm a one-year carnivore currently in training for a bikini competition in the summer of 2021. And today we are doing the Great British Meat Off, aka Ultrafeast. And this time it's in celebration of UK Carnivore Tips hitting his carniversary. What day is it technically?
1st of June.
It's 1st of June. Very exciting. I love how both of our carniversaries are like the first of a month because it's like so easy to remember. Alright, so we have a whole menu we're going to go through. It's all British classic or like cult favorite dishes. And we are starting with dippy eggs and soldiers. And I just know I'm going to struggle to get into this egg. It's going to look like I'm about to stab myself, and I promise I won't.
Hit the top.
Hit the top?
With a spoon.
With a spoon.
Peak of the spoon on the peak of the egg.
Like that?
Yeah.
Or like that?
Yeah, either way. Now scoop. That'll make it easy to get in. See? Compared to the struggle you had earlier.
Yeah, that was not fun.
It's a bit unfair because it's a cold egg.
It is. So we have been cooking all day today. I think Mike is really over me right now.
I'm over Ultrafeast.
He's over Ultrafeast. He will never do one with me again, I'm pretty sure. I don't know where that eggshell went. So to make this, we need Maria Emmerich's PSMF loaf. If you're not familiar, it's a pretty big trend right now. And what it is egg whites whipped to stiff peaks, and then you add, she does egg white protein powder or egg white powder, but I like to use whey unflavored hydrolyzed whey protein isolate. I feel like it gives a better structure to the bread. And then you bake that in the oven. And then for the dippy eggs, we just soft boiled 4 eggs. You'll probably just see the one today though. And then what I did was I sliced up the PSMF loaf and went ahead and put it in a pan with some butter. And I feel like this should be more in the middle. I put it in a pan with some butter just to toast the slices of bread.
It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
The tastier the better on the PSMF.
I agree. And PSMF for me is like, it's okay on its own. It's not super flavorful. So personally, I really like to add some sort of fat or toasted in fat. So good.
So we're both going to be eating throughout this, so...
Yeah. So what did you think of the PSMF loaf? Because this was your first time having it.
It's bready. It's breadier than I was expecting. But it looks like bread, so I don't really know what I was expecting. It's good. It's quite tasteless, like you say, on its own. But toasted is really good. It's just like toast. Like, Ketogenic Diet Food says hello, guys.
Hello.
Ketogenic Pharmacist says hey.
Hey.
Any more shouts? Ketogenic Pharmacist says looks delicious. It is.
It is really good.
Cole BTR says what?
We're eating dippy eggs and soldiers. That's what's up. I see that Ravana Hadiani says, what are you guys' estimated daily caloric intake and ratios? So mine are at, I think that you should calculate your own macros and calories because we're different people. So I would definitely say, if you haven't already, check out my carnivore weight loss tips and tricks video to see exactly how I calculate my calories and macros.
I'm about 2,000 at the moment, trying to cut. Kind of recomping, depending on how much lifting I actually get to do. But about 60-40. Oh, chat's going wild. Cognitus asks, what did you fry it in? We fried it in duck fat. Goose fat?
No, I fried the toasted...
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, oh my gosh. I fried the bread in butter. Sorry, we haven't eaten yet today, so both of us are kind of like, ugh.
Fully monged out.
Here we go. Are you going to have any more of this?
Yeah.
Dig in.
Irax says you from London too. Hello.
Weight Loss Journey Valley says hello. Hello. Iraq says, please tell me you at least went outside for a few minutes between cooking because the sun finally showed up. So I went to the gym this morning, so I did go outside, and it was lovely.
And I was signing up for Ultrafeast, so no.
Cognitive says, what did you fry it in? We answered that, butter. Iraq says, yo from London too. Ravana Hadiana says, can't wait to try the recipes myself next weekend. Definitely let us know what you think. Nicole BTR says, you look beautiful like Jasmine. Oh, thank you. I did fake tan, so I'm slightly
more
less
Arab.
white. We're not going to say that. We're going to say slightly less white.
Yeah.
Slightly more...
Less pale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cognitive says, so many childhood memories with dippy eggs. Me too. So my stepmom made them for me when I was a kid. I never had to crack my own egg top, though. That was a first for me. What's next, Mike?
Bangers and mash.
Bangers and mash. So bangers and mash are mashed potatoes and sausages.
Good job on that bread.
Mm-hmm. Ta-da!
You're going to have to take the plate because I can't really see.
So the mash is the recipe that we had on on your shepherd's pie recipe. So this is his potato recipe. And then the sausages we just cooked in the air fryer for 12 minutes, flipping halfway through. I'll just slice up some so you can grab it with your fork.
I'm going to have the bread this way.
So this is basically a tasting menu because we're trying not to overindulge.
I don't think we could, even if we tried, given the amount of food that we've got.
Yeah. Alright, let me back up a little here.
What's in the mash? It's fauxtato, so it's the topping from the shepherd's pie, which is heavy cream, cheese, blended with an immersion blender. That's basically it. And then you bake it. It comes out like a creamy mash.
Ravana Hadiani says, your opinions on collagen powders. I think if you're eating an animal-based diet, you're likely getting a lot of collagen. I know a lot of people can experience when they eat excessive amounts of collagen, your body will endogenously produce oxalates, which can cause problems like fatigue, hair loss, nausea, etc. So I would say typically if you are someone who is eating an animal-based diet, you likely don't need collagen powders. But if they make you feel good, eat them.
Babs are here.
Hi, Barbara. Cognitive says, what are both your heritages? I will answer. My family on my dad's side is all English, although maybe my great-grandfather was Australian. Family rumors, I don't know. And then on my mom's side, we're all a bit of a mutt. My grandpa is probably the most exotic in that he is part Native American, but mostly just European.
Exotic is not very inclusive language.
I'm sorry, we're just very white people. I don't know how to say it differently. Carnivore Street says, I'm getting hungry. Yeah, I'm starving. We haven't eaten yet today. Jalen for Kids says, hi, beautiful. Hello. Cognitive says, what's in the mash? You answered that. Iraq says, how do you find sausages without junk added? We just find the ones that have the least amount of junk added. Unfortunately, there's a certain amount of not being able to avoid that.
My litmus test is really how many carbs are in there. Everything else I can kind of cope with as long as I tolerate them. I think there's a lot of a problem in the community with people trying to entirely eliminate every last little thing. And I think unless you have specific sensitivities, there's a risk of becoming a bit of a hypochondriac. And it's really about what you can tolerate, what helps support you in pursuit of your goals, and what doesn't make you feel like shit more than anything.
Yeah, I agree. Urac said, are they from the butcher? These are Tesco Finest Lincolnshire
Yes.
sausages. Nicole BTR says, are those real Xmas lights? They sure are.
Flick 'em. She doesn't believe.
Act Like Barbara says, hello. Cognitive says, cool, I'm part Iraqi and Irani, which is
Iranian.
like Iranian. Urac says, fair play. Daisy Carnivore Journey says, you look beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. Cognitive says, would you ever get a sausage maker? I would. It just seems like a pain in the butt to clean. Urac said, very well said, thanks. And Urac says, nailed it.
You ready for next? I want some more. I'm not getting off it.
As you said, get involved.
Smash it.
I uploaded a vlog of our Friday routine, which I filmed yesterday but went up today. I don't know if any of you saw it. But we tried a bacon joint. It was so good. It was from the Tesco deli counter. Nicole BTR says, I agree. If you can tolerate spices in the sausages or whatever, it's fine once in a while. I just stay away from sugars in it. Agreed. Cognitive says, how many more dishes you show us? I assume it's, do we have 1, 2, 3...
7 dishes in total.
Yeah, so
Or
5
number
more?
2.
I just really like the potato though.
You're going to fill yourself up. Got all this other food to eat. Taking it away from you.
The problem is we haven't eaten yet today, so like everything is just like, oh, I just want to eat it. Alright, so now we have a sausage roll. I don't know if you guys can see that. So we mixed up sausage, which we took out of the casing, and bacon, which we chopped up very finely. It was a pain in the ass. And then we wrapped it in this, it's kind of like a carnivore noodle dough that we bastardized. It was a mix of recipes from Keto Carnivore Ashley and Katrine Hofseth. I think next time I'm going to do this slightly differently, but I'm really excited to try this. So is this something you like pick up and just bite into?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have this one?
Yep. Do you want to split one in half? And we'll...
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep doing it.
We'll do it.
Do you want to take it on your underplate?
I feel like you're rationing my food. Nicole BTR said, how is Mike cutting? Slight calorie deficit, focusing on protein, working out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the main variable is how often I can work out against what I planned against. And that's the main decider for how much I cut. But my abs have come back in. I'm back to the leanness I was just before Christmas, which is the leanest I've ever been. But I've got a bit more bulk as well, so I'm happy.
Cognitive says, oh wow, you guys went all out. Yeah, Ultrafeast is an event.
Yeah. Irac says, digging this amuse-bouche?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
It means mouth enjoyment. I don't know. I think it's like another way to say tasting menu.
How did I not know that? The fanciest one here. She says lots to learn. Yeah. We're still exploring, but there's so much that you can do with carnivore that people don't really think about. Irac says, not from Greg's I see. Yeah, so it was quite funny when I took Jacie down the high street and she was like, we just passed a Greg's 5 minutes ago. Why is there another one?
It's like Starbucks in the US. There's just one everywhere. Cognitive says there needs to be a carnivore couples page. I don't know what we would do with that. Memes. Clearly.
I've just lost everything.
Irac says, and dating app. So there is a couples page, or there's a dating page. It's called The Meeting Place, MEATING, and it's run by Michaela Peterson, I believe. There's also a Facebook group. That's not how we met, but I happen to know it's a thing. Cognitive said, what is the sausage roll exterior ingredients? It is egg and cream cheese. Next time I want to do it slightly differently and see if I can't fold in like shredded cheese to see if we can get like a puff pastry flake to it. I'm so sorry. Do you mind handing me a napkin? I'm struggling. My hands are greasy and I can't scroll the comments. And then we blended that together, baked it so that it was set enough for us to roll the sausage in, and then baked the sausage roll.
Like Barbara wishes me a happy carniversary and happy 1,000 followers. Thank you very much, Barbara. I've kind of lost the chat because it turns out that if I put my fork near my laptop, it attracts to the magnet to detect whether or not the lid's shut, and then it shuts the laptop down.
Oh, nice. Your ex says ha 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 ha. I think that's in response to Greg's. Cognitive says totally a dating app would be awesome. Nicole BTR says, did you watch the Friends reunion? I did not. I did not know that was a thing. And Cognitus asks, do you like cottage cheese? I like cottage cheese, but I think of it as exclusively a savory food. If you are putting like sliced pear in your cottage cheese, we cannot be friends. That is horrifying to me.
Are we having all the Hunter's chicken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or do you want to split one?
Let's split one start.
Benito Mikito says, what is your age difference? How do you put it? You're well within the half your age plus, what is it? Half plus 7 difference in our ages. I think we need to slow down a bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're going too fast.
Okay.
Nicole BTR says, haha, I used to eat it sweet. I used to put berries or canned peaches. It's a savory food. I don't get that. So this is Hunter's chicken. So what you do is you take chicken breast and you wrap it in bacon, and then you top it with barbecue, which I made a carnivore-ish barbecue sauce, and then put it back in the oven with the barbecue and the shredded cheese. It's super good. Cognitive says, I mixed shredded baked salmon with butter, cottage cheese, and white vinegar. It was great. That sounds really good. Or what if you did it with cream cheese? That would be a lot like salmon with lox. Mike is giving me this look like he's gonna fight me for the rest of the Hunter's chicken.
It's very good Hunter's chicken. My only issue with the barbecue sauce is that we should have done more.
Yeah, it made just enough. And it took forever. And I messed up the first batch. Like, I really struggled with this Ultrafeast, you guys. Normally the recipes come together really easily for me. I think a major part of the problem is it's a lot of food I haven't had before. So, like, trying to figure out how to replicate a food that I can look up recipes of and see pictures of, and then, like, Mike giving me his best information about it. Oh my gosh, it has been a struggle. Benito Mikito says, what is in the barbecue sauce? It is reduced beef broth with, I think I did a tablespoon of Worcestershire, and a tablespoon of ACV, or apple cider vinegar.
Did you put glycine in it?
Nope. Cognitive says, what is the sauce made of? So again, it's reduced beef broth, Worcestershire, and apple cider vinegar.
Very good.
It's good. It's kind of smoky. Like, in terms of a barbecue sauce, it has that tangy, smoky flavor. It just doesn't have the sweet. Would you agree?
I think that's where the glycine could come in.
Cognitus says Worcester sauce.
Worcestershire.
But do you like shorten city names here? Like, do you really call it Worcestershire every time you say it?
So the last time I spoke about British history, you and everyone else on the chat said they were falling asleep, so it depends.
Okay. Act Like Barbara says, I like what you said about not getting too crazy about ingredients. My BF wanted brats last night and ate them without any carbs, just condiments, and that's better than a plate of rice and veg. Yes, I definitely recommend this. Like, if you're starting carnivore, or if you're someone who wants a family member to eat more carnivore, just reduce the plants and increase the animal products. That's the most natural way to kind of fall into a carnivore pattern. I was actually talking to someone the other day, and they were like, My husband ate carnivore all week and he didn't even realize. I was like, yes, that's hysterical. Act Like Barbara says the brats had additives, but he didn't feel bad eating it. So that's another thing. It's like, it's kind of the whole optimization thing where if you don't have your baseline down, how are you going to know the difference of like whether or not a small additive will affect you? If you're someone who regularly eats plants and then you have brats with spice in it, it's not going to impact you the way that someone who mainly eats beef might notice. Cognitive says wooshta. Wooshta. Kirax says, thanks for bringing me back down to earth. Not getting too crazy about adding ingredients and sausages. Thanks, Meat Fam. Yeah, I think, you know, like a lot of the carnivore community or the bigger carnivore names are really big on eating a certain way. But ultimately you have to decide what works for you, and it's all a trade-off, right? So you could eat like the cleanest carnivore diet and just have ribeye and water, but you might be sacrificing other things you want in your life, like social situations or being able to eat more fun foods or do Ultrafeast or whatever. So I definitely think there's always a cost, but you can decide if whatever health benefits you might experience from eating cleaner is worth that for you.
And there are certain figures within the community who have a large following who do ridiculous things in the pursuit of ultra optimizing their health. And these are people who look fairly healthy. They claim to have some health problems, but fine. But the extent that they're going to and the number of variables that they're pulling on to try and pursue this goal just make no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
And to me, that just screams full-on hypochondria.
The one that bothers me is there's someone in particular who is very focused on optimization. And she says it's in pursuit of a health goal, but everything she does to optimize is for fat loss.
Yeah.
And she's someone who's very lean, and so just, you know, someone who comes from a history of eating disorders, it kind of like pings something in me where I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, and when it comes to the point where you feel you're obliged to insert things into your butthole for the sake of health, you've probably gone a bit too far.
I would agree. Nicole BTR says, I started with deli meats, canned foods, weenies, frozen, seasoned meat, etc. It's fine when starting. I think it's fine to continue that way too. Like, obviously I have a really specific goal, and so I have to tailor my foods for that. And also with my history of OCD, I would never want to put that at risk and get back to my obsessive thought patterns. So I'm fine with eating whatever helps me both achieve my goals and keeps me from experiencing OCD. And then anything beyond that, I'm okay with seasonings or whatever, as long as they don't negatively impact me.
Iraq says, oh damn, meaty enema. Not quite, it was supplements. I have the receipts. And also an injection, so...
No, there was someone who did an enema, remember? It was like,
was
it MCT oil?
No, it was liver.
Yeah, it was like they did a raw fermented liver enema.
Yeah.
Like, no, guys.
No.
Nicole
Stop.
BTR says, and I dipped in mayonnaise, which was filled with seed oils. Yeah, I definitely recommend avoiding sauces. Cognitive says, kind of random, but back when I was experimenting more, certain fruits gave me worse reactions than candies. It's not obvious which additives or artificial things are worse than other ingredients. Yes, and that's why it's important to follow your own personal experience rather than what someone else tells you.
And for me, tomatoes were a huge trigger for my health issues. Which I spotted fairly early on, but then it turned out once I cut out all vegetables, I had no more health issues. I can still eat a cheesecake every Friday and not have them come back. So.
But for me, I have to be really careful with glucose because of my OCD. Ravana Hadiani says, who are your fave carnivore big influencers? I love the Carnitarian. I have the biggest girl crush on her. I listened to an interview with her on Carnivore Cast when I first started carnivore, and like what she was saying just made so much sense to me. Like, eat the meat you like and can afford, and then like the rest is just nonsense. And I think at the time there was a bunch of talk in the carnivore community about whether or not we should be eating chicken and pork because of the PUFAs in it, and she's like, if you tolerate it well, like, why stress out about it? So I don't know, she's like my biggest carnivore crush. But I also really like Judy Cho, Laura Eastbath. I like Kelly Hogan. I feel like I'm missing some big people.
Sean Baker.
I like Sean Baker. I just feel like he does like very random content.
He's a boomer, you can't blame him.
But I owe him my life. Like, he's the reason I'm carnivore now. Who are some of your favorites?
Pretty much the same. I definitely have a shit list for carnivore influencers. And we all know that Paul Saladino is at the top of it. But there are a few other well-loved names that I take issue with, particularly on things like just lost the light. Particularly on things like over-optimization.
Don't worry about it.
Presence of grass-fed beef, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Quality Carnivore is another one I really like. I think she talks a lot of sense, and she's helping a lot of people feel better. I'm going to move on because I'm so sick of you saying his name on my shit.
I don't know what's going on with this.
Just leave it. Irax says, oh my gosh, I can't even. Act Like Barbara says, Laura Spath is big on not caring about seasonings and additives too. You guys have similar viewpoints, and I love that. I think there's a lot of, like, overcomplicating carnivore to the point where people might not try carnivore. Like, I never want anything I say to be preventative to someone. So if they think it's too complicated, or they think they have to do grass-fed finished, or they think they can only eat certain kinds of meat and it keeps them from doing the diet, I have a problem with that. So whatever you need to do to be as carnivore as you can be, I am such a big fan. Cognitive says nightshades be cray. Truly. I mean, like, we wouldn't eat nightshades, but we eat tomatoes, and apparently that's fine. Crazy. Nicole BTR says, for cheesecake, do you change it out? Do you change it or eat the same one? She's asking about your cheesecake.
So it's either Billionaire's cheesecake or salted caramel, both of which are the best cheesecakes I've ever had from Tesco. But ideally, I'd have half and half of each.
Makes a Franken cheesecake. Act Like Barbara says, the Carnitarian's voice is like sexy butter, if that's a thing. It really is. And she looks like a Disney princess. I remember when that Disney princess filter thing was going around, she used it, and I was like, why, girl? You're already there. Act Like Barbara says, steak and butter gal, yeah. Yeah, I love Bella. She's truly, like, just the sweetest person, and any interaction I've had with her, she's just been, like, really kind and sweet to me personally. I really appreciate her and her group. My mom loves it, and she's created this amazing community that my mom is so excited to be a part of. So love her as well.
Word of caution on Bella, she seems to jump onto a specific thing that becomes her focus for a few weeks at a time.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily going to work for everyone.
Everyone kind of finds their niche. You know, like, she's doing the beef only thing right now because she kind of got that from Raymond, and that's kind of their thing. And then, you know, you have people like Paul who say you can eat whatever and be a carnivore, it doesn't freaking matter, and just eat his supplements and everything will be okay. And then you have people like Kelly Hogan who's really into burger patties from McDonald's. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but to your point, like, just don't jump on bandwagons unless it's something that truly works for you. Cognitive says, it's really nice being able to get a pre-cooked, seasoned rotisserie chicken. To be honest, the main reason I go minimalist with ingredients is for finances. That's so true. Like, even with the stuff we got for Ultrafeast, it's not like we had to get, like, a lot of little bits and bobs. Like,
just so many eggs.
So many eggs. But, like, remember before Carnivore when you would make a recipe and you would need, like, one ingredient for one dish one time, and then that would be in your pantry forever? As we have seen.
Wilting in your fridge.
Okay, here is, like, the ultimate part of today's food. This is Sunday roast dinner. We have, what is this? A
Silverside
roast. This is roast potatoes, aka fried paneer. And then these are my attempt at Yorkshire puddings.
They look alright.
They do, don't they?
We also made gravy.
We did make gravy, and that's just reduced beef broth. Nicole BTR says, yes, pork and chicken for the win. Delicious and adds variety. I cannot eat too much pork and chicken because the PUFAs do affect me, as we have seen.
Yeah.
They make me a dick. Shelby Gott says, hello. Best way to cook a steak. If you haven't already, check out it's Mike's method of cooking a steak. It's up on my YouTube. I put it up this week. But it's how to cook the perfect steak every time. And yeah, it's literally perfect every time he cooks it. But essentially it's 6.5 minutes total in a slightly buttered pan. You don't want to add too much butter. And then you flip every minute. Cognitive says you should do a post with your fave carnies in the post description. I have in the past. I never like feeling like I'm leaving someone out though. Cognitive says tomatoes are nightshades. Yeah, we talked about that. Vitamamic says everyone in this group loves your mom. Everyone in the group loves your mom too. I'm going to try to meet up with your mom if I have time while I'm in Florida. When are you in Florida? I'll be back soonish. Your ex says I do not miss that. Yeah, I don't miss buying random ingredients either.
People can't see the food because of the comments. I think it'll be a bit higher than that.
Buttery Bacon says I don't think I could ever make beef only, maybe salmon only, but beef is just too hard. Will you hold up so we can see comments block the plate? So roast beef, roast potatoes, aka fried paneer, and the Yorkshire pudding. Shelby Gott says recipe. All of the recipes will probably be out tomorrow. I have the recipe cards pre-made, but we had to make adjustments while we were cooking, so I want to make sure everything is as accurate as possible for you guys. Gypsy Yorks Carnivore says, why does Mike have so much MCT oil?
I made mistakes in the past. So part of the reason I take issue with the over-optimizers is because I pretty much fell into that trap when I wasn't aware that diet would have fixed a lot of my issues. And it's basically a layer from that. They cost about £20 a bottle. Some of my friends still take MCT oil, so rather than throwing it down the drain, I'm going to give it to them. But because of lockdown, we haven't seen them yet.
So this is the roast potato. As you can see, it has kind of a fluffy interior. So paneer apparently is compressed cottage cheese. It's Indian in origin versus halloumi, which is Greek in origin. Peter's Denim One says this is a dairy cheat day. Yes, so many delicious dishes require cheese or heavy cream. I agree. I'm working on trying to be more focused on dishes that don't include dairy, but I find that either you have to have dairy or you have to have eggs, or it's just like it's just meat. There's really no way around that. Shelby Gott says, do you do OMAD? I'm new. I'm currently doing OMAD, yes. I have not in the past, and typically it's not the most comfortable thing for me, but I'm doing it for the convenience and the fat loss. I don't know what I did with my chat. Oh. It's like all up at the top now. Great. There we go. Vitamamic says for the next few weeks, but you'll be back down in July. Definitely let me know. I'll be back in July. And my show is at the end of July.
Let Her Eat Bacon asks, it says, I wish there were paneer where I live. I couldn't find it until we decided to go to the international shop on the high street fairly recently. It's not the sort of place I would usually go to. But it had chicharrones. Apparently we've been saying it wrong.
Nicole BTR sent me a message saying it was saying it wrong, so we googled it, and it was like chicharrones.
Which are basically pork rinds.
Yeah. It's really good. It's different from halloumi. What? Yeah, so the Yorkshire pudding, I don't know how Yorkshire puddingy it is, but it is tasty. Yeah? Mike is nodding. He says, yeah. I feel
Definitely.
bad. I have all the gravy. Get in there. Benito Makito says that looks amazing. Cognitive says think of it as a way to diversify the IG feed of people who follow you by sharing carnivore profiles they don't already know. Yeah, I just feel like there's so many big names out there already. But yeah, I should definitely spotlight the accounts that I like to follow more. I think, I don't know. I'm such like I get so excited by people sharing their success stories. I like to follow a lot of small accounts. Let Her Eat Bacon says, I wish there were paneer where I live. We got that one. Shelby Gott says, you use butter, or do you have steak seasonings as well? Yes, we use butter, and you have tallow, beef tallow, and lard and goose fat as well. Cognitive says, is Yorkshire pudding also PSMF? Kind of. No, not really. So it's 4 eggs separated, and then I whipped the egg whites, added baking powder, a little bit of baking powder, and then mixed 2 of the egg whites back into the 4 egg yolks. So it's kind of like a combination of the egg yolk muffins and the pia semeth loaf, but there's no egg powder or anything. 2D Rose says, how many meals do you eat per day? Right now I'm eating 1. Before that I was eating 3, sometimes 2. Do you want anything else?
No, I'm good. It's all been really good so far.
It has all been really good so far. Gypsy Rocks Carnivore says, thanks for being honest. Peter's Denim One says, you guys ever made bulletproof coffee? I did when I was keto. Now, obviously, I don't eat MCT oil. But I keep hearing that egg yolk coffee is really good. I want to try that. I think raw egg yolks freak you out a little bit. No?
I used to down raw eggs all the time.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Why did I think that? I don't know.
LCD's in the house. ACD asks, have you had any red duster yet? We literally saw it on the shelves yesterday, and I said, shall we have some? Because Ali said. And she was like, and Jacie was like, no, we have way too much cheese in the flour.
Yeah. Daisy Rocks Carnivore says, I agree. I follow very few big names in carnivore because I'm more interested in friendships and mutual support. Yeah, and I feel like some big accounts don't necessarily like share their story as much, and that's really what I'm interested in, is like hearing people's success stories on carnivore. Shelby Gott says, so what made you change from keto to carnivore? I kept falling off the wagon. So with keto, it's such a numbers game. So anytime I went over carbs, I was like, well, screw it. I'm over carbs. I'm just going to eat all the carbs now. So I found it really hard to stay on track. But with carnivore, it's just eating animal-based. So, like, really, you don't need to track. Clearly, I'm doing my bikini competition, so my diet is a little different than most carnivores. But I definitely think that it's way easier for me to maintain. It's not as much of like a mind space thing as keto was for me. And the health benefits have been so incredible. It's like so easy to stay on track because I enjoy not being in pain and I enjoy not being crazy.
So I'll cover the question from Shelby Gott. He says, so what made you change from keto to carnivore? For me, it was because I stalled on keto for so long and I just wanted to try something else. I knew that the principles applied and they made sense, but I just wasn't getting the results I wanted. I stalled out being still what I considered overweight, and I was overweight for a very long time. So I switched to carnivore to try and lose weight and then found that it solved all my other health problems, and that's why I was stuck with it.
Cognitus is trying to help us pronounce Cheech, Aaron.
I think everyone's just going to have to deal with whatever way we say.
Yeah, I mean, I Googled it. The internet knows. Shanda Fuentes says, I can't find halloumi anywhere in Vegas. So other frying cheeses, you could find paneer, panela, queso blanco, I think, and then bread cheese. Vitaminomics says, Carnivore Yogi does the bone broth raw egg mix in lieu of coffee and egg. That's pretty hardcore. I love coffee. Act Like Barbara says, yeah, Cognitus, I agree. Shelby Gott says, what was it hard at first? For me, no. I really enjoy meat, so it was pretty easy for me to get started. And then once I started experiencing the health benefits, it was really easy for me to continue. Did you find it hard to start?
No. So because I was keto before, the whole no carbs thing wasn't really a problem. I actually found carnivore a lot easier than keto because I was so satisfied by steak every day. I just had no desire to have all the keto treats and all the stuff that turned out was wrecking my gut all along.
Yeah. Okay, so Cheech Ronez.
Everyone is giving something different.
Ronez.
So I think you'll just have to deal with it individually.
DCAF Sen said, any tips on how to improve voting? Any tips on how to improve the energy? I have hit a wall with my energy without carbs. Definitely make sure you're eating enough, and especially if you're transitioning into carnivore, eat a lot of fat. So your body either runs on carbs or fat. So if you are someone who is leaner, you may not have enough body fat to run off of. So increasing your fat intake can be helpful, and increasing your salt intake, because it's going to be very important for muscle contractions. Do you have anything else?
On the energy?
Yeah.
make sure you're getting enough electrolytes as well, because that will feel like you don't have enough energy, but actually it's a lack of salt, potassium, magnesium instead. Make sure you're getting enough sleep as well. So there's quite a few other variables beyond diet that will make you feel like you don't have energy when actually your diet's fine. Otherwise.
Shanna Fuentes says, if I can only afford steak and eggs, is it okay to eat that continuously? Yes. Oh, steak and ground beef. Yes. That is what I eat most of the time. Shelby Gott says, I love meat too, but I feel like my meals would be so boring. I have a ton of recipes. I'm working on getting them up on my blog. Right now they are in my Cook With Me highlight, so definitely check those out. Shelby Gott says, I'm keto right now. So my biggest tip for you would be to start reducing the amount of plants you're eating and increase the amount of animal foods you're eating, and that'll give you like a really smooth transition. You should already be fat adapted, so that part will be easy. Ali CDE says, please ask UK Carnivore to say
the words that I can read. Tucson.
See, the problem is I'm from Tucson, and so he probably knows it from that. Act Like Barbara says, oh my god, Ali CDE. Carol says, would you eat more salt when you implement carnivore diet? I would eat the salt that you crave. So if your body is craving salt, definitely eat salt, but I wouldn't target that. I wouldn't regiment it at all.
So I think the problem is when you come from SAD or keto, a lot of the foods that you're already eating will have a fair amount of salt in it. But when you're eating beef, and only beef, it's quite difficult to get that kind of by accident. So you have to add it quite a bit more than you would do otherwise.
Shana Fuentes says, yes, your recipes have been a huge help to not get bored if I want to spice it up. Love your page and YouTube. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. I've been really working hard to do more on my YouTube. Hopefully the editing will get better shortly. Cognitive says, how do you feel on garnish like parsley or cilantro? I think it adds color. Maybe not taste, flavor, anything I want.
Probably removes from your health as well.
I personally I really like chives. I feel like it adds a lot of impact and a lot of onion garlic flavor, but it doesn't hurt my stomach the way that garlic does.
Yeah. So it's all, again, it's all about, we joke about it being less healthy, but really if you can tolerate it and you've eliminated it before and you know that it doesn't make a difference when you add it back in, then fine, add it back in.
Act Like Barbara says, yeah, your YouTube channel has been kicked up a few notches. I love it. Thank you. I really, really, really tried this week. Cognitive says, oh, so you don't actually eat the garnish? No. Shanna Fuentes says, oh, I had to tell you, you looked amazing with your posing. Your transitions looked graceful and clean. Thank you. I posted that, and my coach, not my posing coach, Brian, my lifting coach, replied with a laugh react emoji. And I was like, that's it? That's the feedback I get? Thanks, Brian. What the hell?
You enjoyed that, didn't you?
I know. I feel like you're really annoyed with me right now.
No?
Because I'm taking forever.
No.
I really like the gravy.
I can see what's calling.
Mm-hmm.
Hurry up. I'm going to help you.
Act Like Barbara says, ha ha ha, wow, Brian. Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Rex says, bye fam, got a dash. Thanks for sharing this meal. Happy Carniversary, Mike. Bye.
Thank you.
Next up, we have scones.
Scones.
If you've ever had English high tea, typically it's served with scones and clotted cream. And did you know clotted cream is inherently carnivore? Shelby Gott says, is fitness hard on OMAD? Do you do any pre-workout drinks? So I do drink black coffee typically before working out, but no, I haven't experienced any energy dips. So I'll have my last meal around 3, and then typically I work out sometime mid-morning. Sometimes the start of my workout feels really slow, but once I get into it, I have enough energy. I was telling Mike the other day, I started my leg day and I was like, oh, I'm not feeling it. And then I just kept going. It was like Energizer Bunny. I was like, I think I can do one more exercise. And I just didn't stop for a really long time. Shanna Fuentes XO says, oh yeah, happy Carniversary, Mike. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so here we have scones, aka scones.
Scones.
And clotted cream. So clotted cream is actually a carnivore food. And we made it homemade. He's just digging in. He was done with me. We made it overnight. It took a really long time. You just put heavy whipping cream in a slow cooker, and then you cook it overnight on warm, not even low, just warm. And then you let it come to room temperature, and then you put it in the refrigerator, and then you like scrape out the cream part. I'm talking and eating, so I'm sucking in air, and it makes me need to hiccup. So yeah, it's really good.
Really good. It's really sweet as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a slight risk that we're effectively just distilling down the carbs out of the whipping cream.
You know what I think it is it's like you're toasting it.
Yeah.
So it enhances the flavor. You are welcome to that next one. So the scones are basically my carnivore cake recipe, although I have an idea to make them slightly better next time. And then the clotted cream, like I said, it's already a carnivore food, so we just made it. Cognitive says, so it's toasted clotted milk. Correct. No, we didn't add anything. So it was literally...
Heavy cream.
Yeah, double cream.
Yeah.
Or heavy whipping cream for US. Shelby Gott says overnight in slow cooker and then what and how much. So you want, it's weird because it's not like a measurement, it just needs to be like an inch or two thick. You want as much surface area as possible. So 12 hours overnight with like an inch of heavy whipping cream in the bottom of a slow cooker on warm. And then you take it off of the heat, let it come to room temperature, and then you put it in the fridge for at least 8 hours, preferably overnight, and that'll firm up the cream so you can scrape it off. There might be a milky layer underneath, and you can either mix that back in or drain it off so you just have the cream.
And it's really easy to burn as well over that period, so you want to make sure that the slow cooker's cracked a bit, so some of the heat comes out, even on warm, even on the lowest setting for us.
Gypsy Rocks Carnivore says, Jacie, are your hiccups less now on Carnivore? Yes, so much less. It's so weird. I used to hiccup all the time, and if I hiccuped once in a day, I would hiccup like all day.
I was the opposite. So I did Kung Fu for many years and did all sorts of breathing techniques, and one of the things we learned was how to stop yourself from having hiccups. So if I hiccup once, I just do the exercises and then don't hiccup again.
But I do think they're less on Carnivore. That's weird.
Yeah.
So next up, we have Angel Delight, which is something I've never had before. I didn't even know it was a thing. But I asked Mike what he wanted for his carniversary, or what his favorite dessert was, and he said Angel Delight. So I took a crack at it. So essentially it's an egg custard. You can see there's chocolate in there. We used a protein shake powder. So if that's something you tolerate, I highly recommend it. But if you don't, you can use like a dash of vanilla if you tolerate that well. And if not, it's still really great as just an egg custard. Mike is like smelling it and making faces at me like it smells so good. Shelby Gott says, do you eat cheese? Yes, we have eaten a lot of cheese just now.
So much cheese.
And then on the top, it's just whipped double cream with no sugar added. I'm so excited for you. Was it good?
Because of the protein powder we used, it was slightly nutty.
Yeah.
If you had a chocolate protein powder, this would exactly be like Angel Delight.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome. So we replicated Angel Delight pretty well. This is supposed to be whey-tella, so it's supposed to taste like Nutella.
Texture's perfect.
But it's like more nutty than chocolatey. He's just stuffing his face and nodding at me. Shelby Gott said, how do you make this? So I'll post all the recipes probably tomorrow. But it's just heavy whipping cream and an egg. And you let that heat and kind of emulsify. And then I added a scoop of protein powder at the end. But again, you don't have to do the protein powder. You could just do the egg custard. And you could also add vanilla if you wanted, or nothing. Carmen Croker says, I love all your carnivore recipes and the variety from dairy, but have you ever experimented with beef only? Kind of. Most of my recipes, because if you don't have either dairy or eggs in a recipe, it's really just meat. So a lot of my recipes have other things in them, but like 90% of the time I'm eating beef. So I have eggs and bacon for breakfast typically, and then like steak or ground beef for dinner. Cognitive says, how do you make egg custard? So the same way. There's a couple different ways you can make egg custard. You could mix the heavy whipping cream and the egg and put it in the oven. What?
So good.
It's so good, he says. You can also make the custard over the stovetop. You can actually take hard-boiled eggs and blend them into an egg custard. I've seen that as well. Yeah.
Sounds about that.
It's one of Maria Emmerich's things.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Do you not like it?
No, it's really good.
Somebody say, I really don't like this.
Do you
Can
want
finish it for me? Well, that's a zero carb dessert. It's carnivore-ish because of the protein powder and the flavorings.
Yeah, the most carbs in it is the heavy whipping cream.
That's nuts.
Do you want the rest of this?
You sure?
Yeah.
You sure?
I'd rather have the potato.
Yeah. Which one? I don't know, that one or both.
That one. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. This is the best trade deal ever. This is so good. Don't know if you can see, but Shelby got asked egg to heavy cream ratio fit custard. For custard, I guess.
So we've just made a ton of recipes, and I actually made this one on Thursday, so I don't want to tell you wrong. I think I know, but I'm not sure I know. So I'll post the recipes tomorrow, and I'll put them in. I'll create a new highlight on my stories for this Ultrafeast specifically, and then like I said, I am working to get all of my recipes up on my blog. That's just ladycarnivore.com. Right now it's just like the hollandaise recipe, but we're getting there. One recipe at a time. It's like, I feel like I haven't done that many, but then like I started compiling them all to get them up on the website, and I was like, holy crap, girl, like slow down. Now I have them all up on my website. Holy crap. It's overwhelming. I am overwhelmed. But yeah. So some things I touch on every live. Best ways to support me, use my Amazon links. Even if you buy something that's not linked, as long as you go through my links, I get a little credit for that. It's a tiny percentage of your purchase. It's like a tip for me and no cost to you. So I always appreciate that. I have a PayPal donation link in my bio as well. Check out my YouTube channel. I've just posted a week of every video, or a video every day this week. It was a big push for me. It's very fun. Sometimes stressful, like last night, but it's been good. And then what else did I want to say? Oh, you can get coached by me if you're interested into that. I work through the MeetRx platform, so if you go to meetrx.com, you can book a coaching session with me. You don't have to be a member in order to book with me, but if you do sign up for MeetRx, you get one free coaching session, so you could always book that with me as well. And then, is there anything I'm missing? Oh, how to start a carnivore diet guide. If you're looking for a quick and easy guide, it's 4 pages. There's a grocery list, meal plan, and then like little tips and tricks at the end. Act Like Barbara says, what do you use to edit your videos?
Rage. Anger and rage.
He's not wrong. iMovie if I want to be a happy person, and Filmora if I want to just be angry. Filmora is actually a good program. It's just like finicky. Like, you have to learn how to actually use it, is essentially my problem. Cognitive says, can anyone set up one of those Amazon links for their own profile? You sure can. Definitely check that out if that's something you're interested in doing. And Act Like Barbara says, ha 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 ha. Yeah, it's mostly rage.
Just some more potato. So, these are very much the closest thing I could imagine to roast potatoes that you can get on Carnivore.
Yeah, they're different from halloumi. They're not like squeaky on the inside. You know how halloumi, when you like bite into it, it's like squeaky like a cheese curd? These are like soft and kind of fluffy, more like potato texture. I'm thinking we grate those. for recipe development, you guys. All right. Well, that was the Great British Meat Off. Thank you for joining us. Danny Gleason says, I'm coming in late. Will you guys be saving this live for later viewing? Yes, absolutely. And now I'll put it on my IGTV, and then I'll also put it up on YouTube. So if you guys want to do it at speed and a half or track or whatever, you can do that. Am I missing anything? I feel like I'm missing something.
Shelby got asked, are you done eating now for the day? Yes. Absolutely. I'm stuffed.
I don't know. I kind of want more roast beef. Danny Gleason says, you guys rule. Thank you. We had a ton of fun. We're both, I think, pretty exhausted now. We've been cooking all day. But thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate all of your support. Happy Carniversary, Mike.
Thank
I'm
you.
so excited for you and your carnivoreness. It's something I really like about you. Yeah, I think that's fair. Lynn for Kids says, thank you for sharing. All right. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
Goodbye.
Bye. Oh, Steak and Butter Gal just jumped in. Hi, Bella. Bye, Bella. I think Burma says thank you.